Hello, mentors. This is an overview of Math and Recipes, January 26th. So this is meeting 3 of Math CEO. Let's take a look at the agenda. So from 2 to 10, you'll be just with your mentors, just preparing last details. At 2:10, team starts or your students arrive. And then you'll be working on this big activity we call cooking puzzles, which will have two parts. At 2:55, you have the closure, and then at 3, kids leave, and we'll have the mentor reflection from 3:05 to 3:30, as usual. So in this meeting, we'll explore proportional thinking using fractions, percents, and ratios, focus more on reasoning and approximating rather than just doing some calculations. So it's really important to have this visual aspect that we will see in the activities. And the context is food and cooking. So at the start of the meeting, please make sure that you explore different foods that you like or students like, and just talk a little bit about it. So this is the overview. So we will do first a vegan cake activity around 25 to 30 minutes. Then we'll do an scaling activity, which is like a team puzzle, and that's about 15 minutes or so. And then you do the closure until 3 o'clock. Two management tips that may be useful. Compare meetings 1 and 2. You already mentored 2 meetings, right? It's very small sample, but still 2, so you can contrast or compare and see what did work and what did not work so well, just to decide how you will approach meeting 3. So you start, looking at some trends, some good things or not so good things, and start making decisions based on this evidence. And then ask yourself, how can I prepare better for the meeting to be more efficient on those parts that you anticipate to be time consuming? Okay, let's take a look at the goals. The mathematical goals is a lot about ratios and proportionality. So given a proportional situation, use ratios, fractions, or percentages to model it, and use diagrams or tables to represent it. Use ratios to solve real life and abstract problems. Given a ratio, convert it to a percentage or a fraction or vice versa, explaining the logic behind it. And finally, solve the scaling problems using proportional thinking and visual models. So those are basically the goals. This is very important, for middle schoolers. So there's a lot of overlap with what it's been taught in middle school, but probably these problems may have some more depth to it. And you want to make sure you have, again, a lot of resources and visual tools to make sense of the activities. Let's quickly look at the student workbook. So this is it. First, you have this part, cooking puzzles. So after you do this exploration on food, you have this picture, and you will say that this represents a cake. So you'll have students just brainstorming what are these 7 mystery ingredients that will be needed for one cake. And one that's really hard is gonna be the applesauce, but others are easier, like milk or maybe flour. I mean, milk, almond milk, say, or flour, and etc. After you do this brainstorm about the ingredients and the amounts in cups, it's important that you tell students that this is proportional. So the number of cups, depends on the number of squares. So for example, the biggest amount will be yellow here, and the black ingredient, whatever it is, it's gonna be the one having the least amount, just 1/4 of the yellow one. And there's a lot of connections that can be made as in terms of ratios, fractions, decimals, percentages between the different colors and between one color and the total. This is, by the way, a 9x10 grid, as you can easily check. So that may also help. Okay, after the students brainstorm the ingredients, then you just say, how many did you guess? Some ingredients can be replaced by others. For example, agave for sugar, and what other substitutions can you think of? So you want to go back and forth between the math and the real life or small talk, just to keep students interested in all these aspects. After that, the official puzzle starts. So you will have 5 clues. For example, for every 2 spoons of oil, there are 8 of flour, or we would need 16.5 cups of sugar to make 11 cakes, and etc. And based on this information plus the picture, plus this visual picture of these 7 colors, kids will need to figure out which are the ingredients, so which color corresponds to which ingredient, and how many cups are of each ingredient. So this is a very fun puzzle. It's not too complicated, but it may be a little long, so you could throw in some hints here and there. After that, then you have this second part called scaling up. So you want to make a lot of vegan cakes to serve for the people, to the people attending a 5-day festival, and you are in charge of buying the cocoa powder. So remember, they already know how much cocoa from the previous activity. And then it's how much money do you need in total? So what's cool about this problem is that you're just given the question and the general situation, but you don't give any other clues, or not now, or not for now, not at the start. And then the students will need to ask questions to you guys that may help find the answer. So they could say, for example, okay, what's the cost of cocoa? Or how many people attend every day? Things like that. Let's look at the clues. These are in the teaching manual. So we go to this part called scaling up. And so we'll find in here. So we will know that each cake serves between 10 to 13. Around 200 and 250 people show, but only 100 people show on Monday. Out of 10 visitors, 9 of them will want the cake. And then you have 2 different brands of cocoa, one that will be better than the other one. So it's a complex problem in the sense that there's a lot of information to be connected. Information is not exact, right? It's also like a lot of estimations and approximations. And then kids will do their best asking the questions and just trying to come with the best answer. Of course, you maybe want to know more whether maybe kids want less cake or adults want less cake, or other types of, if there's any other brand of cocoa that's cheaper. So of course, well, we won't have that knowledge. So we will just answer to the best of this ability of these 5 clues. If kids don't use all the clues, you may hint that maybe they need to ask about something else. So that's this activity. It's a team puzzle, and that's pretty much it. Let's quickly return to the agenda. So just to remember, so you have the vegan cake, then you have the scaling, and just don't forget about the closure. Okay, have fun.